Hey, it's Evie. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel if you're a subscriber. I'm a Law of Attraction author. I'm a Law of Attraction coach. I'm a writer. I'm an author in general. I write articles. A lot of the articles I write are about relationships. So if you do contact me via my website, ask about the Law of Attraction and attracting your expat, attracting somebody that you fancy, that you have a crush on, that you want to be in your life, I can also give you some practical advice. Women and men, they think differently. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Today's video is, I had a question via my website simply saying, define the law of attraction. And I thought, okay, you can't really define the law of attraction because the law of attraction to me is just a phrase. To me, it's quantum physics that's going on here, and I prefer to think of it as the law of creation. I refer to it as the law of attraction for you guys because that's how you refer to it. And some of you will think it's God, and some of you will think it's the universe. I think, and I don't know what quantum physics is, that could well be God, who knows? I don't know, but to me, it's science, and I am creating my reality based on the law of quantum physics, basically. So there are infinite possibilities. I choose which road I want to go down. That creates a probability. I let go of that intention and that creates that specific thing coming into my life. And that's exactly how it's worked for me. So that's what I believe it to be. So the law of attraction is whatever you think the law of attraction is. What works for me might not work for you. What works for you might not work for me. I have not taken this stuff too seriously. I've wanted to make it work because I've wanted to change my subconscious. I've wanted to change my core being, really. I didn't dislike myself before, but I knew that I was struggling to get things that I wanted because I was trying too hard. And I knew deep down, this is why I wasn't getting things, because I was trying too hard. And I've always known there's something weird going on, that reality is not what we think it is. I used to believe in God, in the Bible, that kind of God, into my 20s, and then I didn't believe in anything, and I didn't know why anybody would believe in God. And before, when I believed in God, I didn't know why anybody wouldn't believe in God. But you know, you get cynical, don't you, as you get older. And I thought there was nothing, you know, we died and that was that. We were born, we died, nothing after that. And I don't believe that now. I really don't believe that. And I don't know what it is though. I've become fascinated with quantum physics way before I ever heard of the law of attraction. My son was into the law of attraction before I was, and he's the one that sort of said, oh yeah, that's just where you intend something and you know, and you get it. Like, so matter of fact, this was a couple of years ago. Well, a few years ago now, actually. It's probably about 4 years ago now. But it's been the last 2 years that I've really kicked this into play. Really have thought, come on, go for it. Let's get these things that you want. Let's get them. Why not? And I have thought to myself, if it doesn't happen, if I don't get the things that I want, then I'm quite happy as I am. So what I had to do was to learn how to be happy in my own skin, happy being me if I didn't have all of these other things that I wanted. So I took it fairly lightheartedly. So I had to work on myself. And I think if you want this thing to work for you overall, to be able to get everything that you want in the way that you want it, you have to look at yourself, because it all does come down to you. And that's included my attitude to people, my attitude to life in general. And the way that I've made this work for me is I haven't clung on too hard, too tight to anything, and I had done in the past. If I wanted something, I felt that I had to cling on to it, come hell or high water, otherwise it was going to slip through my fingers and I wasn't going to have it, and I wouldn't let it go. So I might get a version of what I wanted, but I'd never get exactly what I wanted. And I've learned that clinging on does not equal manifestation. It really doesn't. The opposite is true. Letting go is what equals manifestation. So call it the law of attraction if you like. I call it the law of creation. I sometimes refer to it as the law of attraction, and I do when I'm writing, I refer to it as that because that's what people look it up under, and that's how people find my writing, and that's how people find my channel and my videos. So I do refer to it as that. But to me, I'm not attracting anything to me, because that's quite tough to think you're trying to attract something. You're not. You're creating something from scratch sometimes, creating something from scratch. I wanted to be an author. I wanted to be an adult fiction writer, and nothing was swaying me from that. And I was getting nowhere. I was getting really close, and then I was getting nowhere. So that was kind of worse in a way. And I was looking for an agent. And I really started thinking, I don't know, maybe I'm just not good enough. Which actually wasn't true, and I have been told and I'm writing some adult fiction at the moment because something has happened, but I'm not going to go into that at the moment. So as it turns out, I kind of have got that in the pipeline. But then I started to think, and people were saying to me, write self-help, because, I was starting to change my life then. And I thought, I don't know. I don't feel qualified to write self-help and tell people, what to do. So I kind of couldn't get my head around that. But I sat down and I thought, I'm going to give it a try. And then I just started writing a story about a young girl. And she isn't me. Maddie is not me by any stretch. Certain quirky little points that she has about her that are me, but she is not me. And her life has nothing to do with my life or anything like that. But I wanted to write a story about the law of attraction without ever mentioning the law of attraction. So if you're into the law of attraction, you will get it. It's called wishful thinking. If you are interested in reading any of my books, the best place to go to read reviews or look at I can't think of the word. Look at my stars is to go to goodreads.com, and you can look up wishful thinking there and Finding Remarkable. That hasn't been out long, so I think I've only got 1 rating on that at the moment. But I intend to write lots more in the future and lots more on the topic of specific person manifestation. Anyway, so I thought, wow, I've just written a YA fiction book. I didn't think of writing YA fiction. I'd never thought about that, but I looked at it and I thought, it is a piece of fiction. To me, it's a story of the law of attraction, but to anybody else that's not into it, it's a piece of fiction. And then I thought, I'd like to get this published, and I didn't know how I was going to go about that. And I thought, can I face sitting down and applying to a load of agents again? Do I really want to do that? Do I want to be beholden to deadlines and that sort of thing? But it kind of was just popping around in my mind. I didn't really know what to do. And then I spoke to somebody who was in the industry, read it and said, you have to publish this. You have to get this published. You're into marketing, that's what you do. Get it published, do it yourself. A couple of days later, and I sort of was going around in my head then, I thought, I don't know, that's going to be a lot of work and I just don't know. And then magically, out of the blue, I started talking to an editor and she became my editor then. There you go. So it all happened so quickly. It was published a couple of months later. I've had some really great reviews on it, some really great feedback via Goodreads, and I haven't done that much to promote it, to be honest. So if you would like to go and read it, that would be amazing. That would be completely amazing. And I love it, and I stand by that story. I love it so much, and I love my characters, and I love Maddie, my main character. I absolutely love the book that I've written, and I'm happy with it. And if it never goes any further than that, I'm happy, because I love doing this now. So the law of attraction, law of creation, I didn't purposely decide to create a YouTube channel, but I used to look at YouTube, and I don't really know what happened, where I suddenly started. I started a beauty channel before this, and then I started this one. I thought, why not do a law of attraction one as well? Because then I can help people. I've always wanted to help people, and now I feel I'm helping people. I'm just doing it a different way than I had thought. So the law of attraction to me is creating my reality as I go, and not to get stuck in one particular mindset that I have to have this and I have to have it that way, because there are better things out there for me, and there have been. Some incredible things are happening at the moment, and I'm writing content for other people now, which I love doing as well, and I'm writing content for different platforms. I'm writing articles, I'm writing all sorts of stuff, and I love writing. And when I released on that, I have to write adult fiction, everything started happening. Absolutely everything kicked in, and things are incredible at the moment, and I feel grateful every single day for the stuff that's coming to my life, that I've allowed to come into my life. If you're getting hung up on a specific person, for instance, because that's what happens, and I get tons of emails about this, and I feel sorry for you guys, because I know what it's like to be completely in love with somebody, not to be able to be with them, or not to be with them. But I can tell you this, that if you keep being hung up on it and uptight about it and try to manifest, try to imagine them, try to say affirmations and all of that stuff in order to get back with them, it won't happen. And if it happens, it will be brief. It will not happen, and it will not last. The only way that this works is you accept things as they are now. In general, just accept them as they are now, and by all means, do not give up on that person if you feel that you're destined to be with that person, but don't force it. Just don't force it. Allow it to happen. You've got to practice allowing with this stuff, I have found. anything, you know, everything I've got over the last couple of years, and believe me, so much has happened. You know, I've let go of a business I didn't want anymore, I've got rid of an office, I don't have any staff anymore, and all in the best possible way. I wanted all of this gone, or, you know, to come to me, all of these things, and they happened so quickly. And it was just through the power of intention and then letting go. Half the stuff I didn't even do any imagination with, did nothing really. I just accepted the things as they were now. And by accepting, you're not saying that you just want to be stuck like this. You're not saying that. You're just accepting that you can deal with this, you know, and you're allowing then reality to kick in and bring you all of this wonderful stuff that you want. You have to allow reality to do that for you. I mean, you're doing it, you're creating it with your desire, and then you're allowing things to move. And I don't know how that happens. All I know is that it's happened for me, and all of the stuff I was trying to get for years and years and years, I got within all of it now. Well, there's other things that I want that haven't come into my life, but I'm not forcing them. I'm just seeing what happens. I'm letting it go to the universe, go to reality, and just seeing what happens, because getting uptight will not get you what you want. You have to release. And I must tell you this. Releasing does not mean that you're forgetting. Releasing does not mean that the universe or God or reality is going to forget what you want, because once you've put that intention in, it never goes away. Never goes away. It's there. And depending on how strong it is, it's really how quickly you get it. A client of ours years ago had an Audi TT, black Audi TT, and I really admired it. I loved it. And it was, you know, it's a long time ago. And I thought, oh, I'd love to have one of those. And I just thought it was a brief kind of thought, and I didn't think any more of it. And it was a few years later when I was sat in a showroom next to exactly that car when my husband was taking another car out for a test drive, and I knew immediately that was my car. That was my car, and I was going to have that car, and I had signed for it as soon as my husband came back, and I had that car. I'd signed for it because I knew it was mine. And there you go. And I thought about that after, and I thought, wow, that was just a brief thought that I had, and I just knew that car was mine. It was waiting for me. It was there for me. And we were there at that particular time because that car was there. Because funnily enough, we weren't actually in the Lexus garage, where my husband was should have been taking a car for a test drive. We were in the garage next door, the Sytner garage, because there was an issue with the Lexus garage. So we had to move and speak to the people there. And I firmly believe that that's why we had to do that, because that car was waiting for me. You have to let things happen. You have to stop clinging on. And I know that's hard. That's really tough, but it does take practice. And if you can put that practice in, it's worth it. It's so, so worth it. Practice looking after yourself, remembering that you are number one. You are the priority, because when you are right and you feel good, everybody else feels good and everything else is right. And I've also found to let people be. Don't try to force a square peg into a round hole. Never try to do that. Just let people be whatever they are, and you will find that works out. I mean, I'll just tell you a really quick story here. It's getting a bit dark out here now, so I hope the lighting's not too bad. There was a memorial service for this funeral home that dealt with my dad had arranged it, and they do it every year. And we went last year, and that was fairly soon after my dad died, so it was quite heartbreaking then. And we decided to go this year. My whole family were going. Everybody was going. My brother, his wife, the kids, my son, my mum. My husband didn't want to come. No reason for it. I said, "Are you coming?" He said, "If you really want me to." And years ago, I would have flipped at that, because, you know, I'd have been cross, because yes, I felt like he should be there. Not so much for me, but for my mum. I wanted my mum to have everybody there, and it just was a bit off that he wasn't going to come. But I didn't get funny with him. I felt a little bit annoyed. I did, and I sort of let that out to my mum a bit. Did feel a bit annoyed, but then I let it go. And I thought, it's up to him. I can't make him come. I think he's going to come. In my mind, I thought, he's going to come, but I am not going to force it. I'm not going to go on at him, because I don't want him to come if I forced him. And I just thought, let's just see what happens. I was perfectly nice to him after we'd had that discussion. I made him coffee, and we were chatting as normal, watching TV. I was being exactly the same as I always am, and I did not hold it against him. And I knew that he felt guilty. I knew that he felt bad because I was being nice. I knew that he was starting to think that he should come. I just knew that. And the weekend came, and I was talking about it, and I said, and so we're going to tea at Mum's afternoon. "Oh, are we?" And I said, "Oh, so you're coming then?" And he said, "Oh, yeah, I'm coming." Easy as that. By being nice. I find that I get things by being nice, or by not making an issue of things. So just allow everything. Allow the good things to come into your life. Don't get in the way. Don't get in the way of your own manifestations. Don't get in the way of your own good stuff. That's what I've learned. Stop getting in the way. I used to have a real struggle letting go and letting my subconscious take over because I wanted to get in there, because I felt like I knew best. And I can tell you that I've never known best. Since I've let my intuition take over in life, I've gotten everything, and everything's become so much easier, and my intuition is always right, always right. Me, here, never right, never right. Never listen to my head, always listen to my heart. My head's never right. Your heart knows. When people say don't listen to your heart, you must listen to your head, I don't believe that. I would say the opposite is true. Listen to your heart, because, you know, it's your soul, I guess, your subconscious. I don't know, but I found when I've listened to my head, it's all gone horribly wrong, because I think I know best. My ego thinks it knows best, and my ego knows nothing. And I've proved that to myself over the last few years. I cannot listen to, when I have a want to do something, I dump that down because I know that it's not right. My intuition is telling me the opposite. If my intuition is telling me one thing and my head is telling me another, always go with my intuition. That is sort of the law of attraction to me, summed up in a nutshell. Wasn't really a nutshell, was it? I went on a bit, but I hope it was useful to you, and I hope you managed to get some bits and pieces from that, and that might help you along. I'm not perfect at this. I still struggle sometimes with certain things, but I know that I have to keep listening to my intuition, and I know that my subconscious will then get on board, and it will all be right in the end. And if I think that there's something that I want, I don't try and take over and make things happen and take action. I now just let it flow, and I think, do you know, if this is right for me, then it's going to all work out. It's going to all work out in the end without me getting in there and taking any dumbass action, which I have done in the past. I don't do dumbass anymore, not very often anyway. Anyway, thank you for joining me. See you soon.